Here's what I made for dinner last night, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to make this garlic and herb salmon, kale salad, and fried potatoes with mushrooms and Swiss cheese. Y'all, it was absolutely delicious, and I used one pan for the potatoes, mushrooms, and cheese with the salmon. And so you're just going to want to get a wild-caught fillet of salmon and drizzle a little olive oil, or you can spray some oil of your choice. I prefer olive oil. And I used some garlic and herb dash with black peppercorn, and I just gave it a good sprinkle of those seasonings. And dash is a really good low sodium seasoning, and I use it on almost every recipe I made. And you're going to want to drizzle a little lemon juice on top of that salmon. It just really brings out all the flavors. And so I wrapped it in foil and placed it in a 350 degree preheated oven for about 20 minutes. It does not take long at all for salmon to cook. And so in my nonstick skillet, I peeled and cubed some potatoes. These are Irish potatoes, and I sprinkled a little garlic and herb dash seasoning and black pepper and just a little touch of salt. I do like to add salt to potatoes because it really helps to bring out the flavor of potatoes. And you're just going to want to let those saute for a few minutes. And I just placed the lid on and allowed those to cook. And on the side there, you see that I did chop up some fresh garlic. You can use granulated garlic or garlic powder, whichever you prefer. And you're just going to want to stir those potatoes ever so often. You see how they're starting to brown and get golden and crispy on the side? That's what you're looking for. And I did go ahead and add the chopped garlic. That's really going to add delicious flavor to this dish. And the Swiss cheese and the mushrooms that I'll be adding here in a few minutes. This was one of the best potato dishes I believe I have ever made. And whenever the potatoes have become golden brown, you want to add just a touch of water to help those finish cooking. And I went ahead and placed the lid back on to let those finish. And if you have mushrooms on hand, mushrooms are delicious to add to this potato dish. And I had some baby Bella mushrooms, so I just sliced a few of those that I had left in the fridge to add to this dish. And you want to do that at the last part of the right before the potatoes are done, because personally I don't like the mushrooms to be soggy and mushy. I like them to be a little al dente, so I added those last. And you might want to add a little oil back to the pan after you've added the mushrooms. And once those have cooked probably about 5 minutes, I went ahead and spritzed those mushrooms and potatoes with a little more olive oil. The spray can olive oil is so convenient. It's really convenient to have on hand. And I did add another little drizzle of olive oil to the bottom of the pan there. And by the way, as you probably know, olive oil is very heart healthy, very good for you. So don't be concerned with using too much olive oil. It's very good for your heart. So these potatoes and mushrooms are close to being right about the texture that I like those. And at this point, you can add any kind of cheese you prefer. I went ahead and added some sliced and cubed Swiss cheese to mine. You could add cheddar, you could add Monterey Jack, you could add You could even add pepper jack cheese to this potato and mushroom dish. It would be delicious. So the salmon has been cooking for about 20 minutes. And y'all, you have got to try this dish. It's so quick and simple. And so the potatoes have finished cooking, and look at this baked salmon with garlic and herb and lemon juice that I drizzled over the top. It smells divine. It's delicious. This is something that I believe I will be making at least once a week, or at least 3 times a month. And look at those delicious potatoes with mushrooms and Swiss cheese. Now, I did make a kale salad the other day, and I had some left over, so I did use that as a side dish with this meal. And so it's kale salad, potatoes and mushrooms with Swiss cheese, baked salmon with garlic and herb seasoning. And I did generously use olive oil in this dish because it is so good for you. And those omega-3 nutrients in that salmon is something that we probably should be eating at least once or twice a month, more if you really like fish. And look at how flaky this turned out. This was so delicious. I really wanted to share this recipe with y'all. It was just delicious. So flaky and tender and very, very flavorful. It was so quick and easy just to wrap it in the foil as I did and pop it in the oven. And the potatoes and mushrooms and Swiss cheese was very simple to put together. And then I'm going to share towards the end of this video, I'm sharing my kale salad recipe. It's loaded with all kinds of flavors. It has ingredients like pecans, cranberries. It's absolutely delicious, and it does have some cubed cheese in it as well. So here's the kale salad that I told you I'd share. Today I'm going to show you how I make one of my all-time favorite salads, kale salad. It's loaded with vitamins, nutrients, minerals. It's a superfood, very, very nutritious for you. And these are some of the ingredients that I'm going to add to this kale. It's a fresh bunch of kale that I just gave a quick rinse and a good wash before preparing. And you do want to remove that hard stem there in the middle. You don't want to add that to your salad as it does taste very bitter. So I just chopped the kale into very tiny bite-sized pieces. It didn't take long at all. And I do like to keep a little grocery bag handy just to toss those things in that I'm not going to be using. And so I did add some cubed Swiss cheese, about 3/4 of an 8-ounce block. And I just chopped those into bite-sized pieces. And to me, the texture of cubed cheese versus shredded cheese in this salad makes it so delicious. All those textures with that kale and the different ingredients that I'm adding here, it just makes it absolutely delicious. And in my opinion, cubed cheese gives such a better texture for kale salad versus using shredded cheese. That's just my preference, of course. And if you are watching your salt intake, Swiss cheese, keep in mind, is very, very low in sodium. It's less than 5%, which is a very good percentage to stay at when you're watching sodium. And I am adding some low sodium bacon pieces. It's not the imitation, so make sure you use real bacon pieces for a better taste. Chopped walnuts is another ingredient that I added. You can use pecans, walnuts, whatever you might have on hand. And really, you can add whatever you like to this kale. It's really whatever suits your taste. And I just had a little trail mix left over in a couple of bags that were almost gone, so I didn't want to waste that, so I added it in. Olive oil is something I always add to my greens It helps our bodies to digest and benefit from all those nutrients. It helps our bodies to break down those nutrients so much better. And Mrs. Dash garlic and herb seasoning, black peppercorn, and you can season it however you like. These are just my preferences. I do like a little bit of citrus in my salads, especially kale salad. So you could squeeze on a little lemon juice if you like. And I did use light mayonnaise. Keep in mind, you can use ranch, you can use olive oil, you could even use, I feel like the Olive Garden salad dressing would be really good in this kale salad. And so I just gave it a little toss. And this is the perfect salad just for one. You could do a salad for two. That bunch of kale that I showed you early in the video, it made enough for two, more than enough, with plenty left over actually. And you can also throw in kale leaves if you're cooking a stir fry, or you can also add it to a fruit smoothie. It makes it delicious. It does stay crispy compared to lettuce or spinach. So if you're going to a cookout or a potluck, kale salad, this recipe would be perfect. It's going to stay crispy and crunchy, and it actually lasts in the refrigerator a good 5 or 6 days, and it keeps its texture. It's delicious. Thank you all so much for watching my video. I will be posting videos weekly. I hope you have a wonderful and blessed week ahead. God bless you, and I'll see y'all later.